Take it away, Mr. K.
Okay, hi, boys and girls. Just with a show of hands, could you let me know if anybody was present last week for the Zentangle lesson? Are there any repeat artists here? Oh, okay. I see one hand, maybe two, three. I'm not sure. And I was going to ask Miss Brittany, and this is not a problem. I see all the participants and I see myself. Is there any way just to make my own self a little larger? So how do I do that?
Absolutely. So last week, if you remember, if we looked in the upper right-hand corner, there was a little
Right,
view button. Under
right.
that, you're going to want to select the one called speaker, and that will make you
Oh,
large and everybody else little. And thank you
oh,
guys so much for raising your hands. I'm going to go ahead and put them down now for him.
okay. Thank you. Okay, now I see you large, but I don't see myself at all. Let me see. How do I do that?
It should pop up for whatever the speaker is. So whenever you start talking and everything, it should automatically pop them up. It'd be
Okay,
you're
let's
the main,
try
but
that.
since I was speaking, it would pop me up main.
Okay, let's see if I'm going to come large here. Nothing yet. I don't even see myself. Let me go back to the gallery view. Is that okay?
Yes, the only other thing that I can think of,
Share my screen? I don't think I want to share my screen,
no, you
correct?
shouldn't need to do that.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'll go with the small box. It's all good. I did that last week. It's no big deal.
I'm so sorry, Mr. K. I have no idea why it's not popping you up as main.
I like it this way because it reminds me of last week. Last week was a good lesson, so it's all good. And I think I tried to remedy things a little bit here. I brought in what's called a field easel. If you guys heard the Vincent van Gogh story, oh look, I'm large now, Miss Brittany.
All right, I
Something,
found it and fixed it for you.
yeah, thank you. Okay, awesome. All right, so this is a field easel. And it may not be the perfect angle, but I think it's going to be a lot better than last week with me not having to juggle things any longer. Okay, so I think the first thing we said last week was, remember, this should be fun and stress-free and not stressful. So do not panic if your marks do not look exactly the same as mine. In fact, I did a couple practice drawings and none of them look the same. That's the beauty of art. Everything's going to be different and unique and wonderful. Okay. And I think I also said this last week, whatever mark you put down, just kind of go with it. Okay. There's no mistakes because if it's coming from you, it's coming from a special place. So I just wanted to quickly review what I'm using this week. I just have a basic #2 pencil. I have a large pink eraser, but if you don't have one, a pencil top eraser will do. I myself personally have a Sharpie marker because I think during certain parts of the drawing, this will make it more visually obvious for you. It'll darken things up and it'll be easier for you to follow. I won't use it the whole time, but I'll use it a lot. And color is always optional. I actually, last week, I used colored pencils. I gave those away to my daughter. She was doodling the other day, my grown-up daughter. And so I'm going to roll with some primary crayons today if we get that far. And then Miss Brittany, I think we're on the same time frame, about 11:45-ish or so. Is that correct?
Sounds good. Yep. And then around then we'll wrap up with any questions.
Okay. And if I may ask again, just politely feel free to pause me or interrupt at any juncture if I'm going too quickly or if there's any questions. Because remember, I'm kind of blind. I won't I won't be able to see everything in the chat box. So if that's okay.
I'll do my
Okay.
best to keep up with all the questions. And if there's
Okay.
anything, I
Sounds
will let
good.
you know.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, we'll get started here. I hear it's Animal Week. And I think I had indicated last time that we would do some character drawing today. And I'm a huge Disney fan. I've always loved Walt Disney. And when I taught art in elementary and intermediate, we drew pretty much all the famous Disney characters, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck. I did a lesson last year with some of the campers, and we did Simba. And you may see a couple of my cats rolling in. I have my door cracked open. So if they do, that's appropriate because it's Animal Week. I did some research as to what the most popular Disney character was, and I was surprised it was not Mickey Mouse. For a time, the most popular Disney character was actually Donald Duck. So I figured we would draw him today if that's okay with everybody. So I'm going to teach you how to draw Donald Duck, okay? So we're going to get started, and I'm going to grab my pencil. And remember, don't stress about anything. Just go with the flow and do your very best. And in fact, one of our first movements is going to be a circle movement like this. That's why I'm just kind of like loosening up my wrist and drawing an aerial circle. And what I might do is when I go to my scratch pad here, I will go around a few times. That's a sketchy or scribbly circle. It's called a gestural circle or a gestural mark on my page. It doesn't have to be exact. Just get as round as possible. Now, here's another question for you all, and also Miss Brittany. When I put the circle down, I don't know if you guys can see it on my camera. Can you see that?
Unfortunately, not very well because it's very
Okay,
light.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I'll go with the marker the entire time. The only thing is there's going to be a few marks that I'll have the kids erase that I will be unable to erase, if that makes sense. You know, I'll put some preliminary marks on there that the kids will get rid of when Donald Duck takes shape, but I won't be able to. So mine will look mostly like Donald Duck, and yours will look completely like Donald Duck, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me darken in that circle. There, can you guys see that? Can you
Yes,
guys see that
much,
okay?
that's much better. Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
awesome. All right. Now here's the next mark I'm going to make, and later on you can erase this mark. I'm not going to be able to. It's kind of like a crescent moon shape. And it's not quite in the center of the circle. It's a little bit off to the left of the scratch pad. Okay, later on you're probably going to want to erase that line. I won't be able to, but it's all good. No problem. And remember, you guys stop me if I'm going too quickly, okay? All right, now we're going to do another crescent moon, but it's going to be down at the bottom here. So it's going to be kind of like a crescent moon lying on its back. And when I see that, I'm not much of an Xbox gamer, but is that kind of like the Xbox symbol? Any video gamers out there? It's kind of like that, isn't it? And someone's holding up their paper. I wish I could see it better, but I can't. But I'm glad you're sharing. That's cool. Okay. All right. So this separates Donald's face into kind of like four quadrants. Eventually, there's going to be an eyeball here. There's going to be a smaller eyeball here. His beak's going to be down here. We'll have some eyebrows up top here. He wears like this naval beret. And we'll try to get all those little details in by the time we're done with the sketch. Okay, so we're going to build a little bridge here for his mouth. Okay, and what I mean by that is kind of looks like a hill or a bridge. Hope everybody's doing okay. Am I going at a good pace, Miss Brittany?
You're
I'll
doing
take.
great. Yep.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that bridge and I'm going to come under this line just a little bit. So up goes the bridge, down underneath is a squiggly line. And it's a little out of focus on my computer screen, but I hope you all can see it okay. All right, now coming off of this squiggly line, I like to go fishing even though I haven't fished yet this year. It's kind of like a fishing hook. okay? Inside the fishing hook, we're going to draw a smile crease. That's where the corner of Donald Duck's smile is going to be. And of course, when you smile, you get little creases in your cheeks. So the same happens even if you're a duck, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now I'm going to make the top of his bill come the whole way across the bottom of the circle. Okay. So it's going to go something like this. And when I bring it over, I'm going to kind of roll it up a little bit, like a fruit roll up. Okay. So kind of like that. Now, boys and girls, you may want to do something right now, and I wish I could do it, but I can't. The only thing I can hope for is maybe my friend, this white crayon will help me out. I would like you kiddos to erase a few lines. So this is where your large pink eraser might come in handy now, or the top of your pencil. If I could, I wish I could erase this line right there. My white crayon's not really working, but I wish I could erase that line there, and I wish I could erase that line there. I'm not able to, but if I could, I would. Does that make sense to everybody? And that'll just give you a little more definition to the character, okay? And eventually we're going to erase these lines down here too, but I think we'll keep them for a little while longer. Is everybody okay on the pace? Are you erasing a little bit? And we'll get ready for some more of Donald's mouth. Nice. I see somebody holding up a paper. Thumbs up, kiddos in the gallery, if we're going at a decent pace. We doing okay? I don't have all of you. Let me see. I
We
might
have,
try to get.
if you
Yeah.
click on gallery, you can go ahead
Yeah.
and see them all then.
Yeah.
And switch it back if you'd like. But yep, I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot of them keep popping up and everything like
Okay.
that. So far, so good. We had a
Okay.
comment that it did say it did look like the white crayon was helping a little bit, but not
Oh.
nearly as much as we need, huh? So
Okay.
a little bit it helped. Like you can kind of see it fading, but yeah, you can definitely
Yeah.
tell it's still there. But for you guys
Okay.
at home, like he said, that's why we're using something you guys can erase with. He's just using that to make sure you can see
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Brittany. That was helpful. And then probably what I'll do after this next movement is I'll draw some more of the beak. And then if you have, say, like a dark crayon, a marker, or a dark colored pencil, you may want to go over the beak lines and make them, enhance them, make them a little darker, if that makes sense. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Remember where we left off with this fruit roll up movement? I'm just going to kind of wrap, I don't know, it's like, it reminds me of some kind of rounded object, like a plastic knife that you would use on a picnic, something like that. Okay. So that's going to be just kind of like the rounded top of Donald's beak. And his head, if you can't already tell, is going to be slightly turned to one side. So one eye is going to be larger and the other eye is going to be a little smaller, but they're both going to be pretty distinctive. Okay. All right. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw kind of like his bottom lip. Okay. So I'm going to come from this same area. I'm going to trace on that same line for a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of like leave off and create his bottom lip. Okay. So I'm going to start from that same smile, that little crease. We're going to come over here like this. I'm going to leave off a little bit and I'm starting to create his bottom lip. His bottom lip is going to wrap around and hook up with the bottom of that circle and connect like that. Okay, so I can show you that again. We started at the crease, we stayed on the line, and then we left it to form the bottom lip. We wrapped it around and it hooked up with that scrunched up side of his face. Okay. Now we're going to need a scrunched up side of his face on this side too. So I'm just going to do like the letter C right there. Okay. Now here's where you may want to take, I'm going to go with a black crayon. Okay. And I'm going to show you which lines you want to darken in. Okay. So let's start with, I think this helps. I think this looks extra dark for you, I think. So I really want to darken that middle of his beak. And I really want to darken the top edge of his mouth. And I really want to darken his bottom lip. And that scrunched up part to his cheek. I'm going to darken that little smile crease. I wish that line wasn't there. Hopefully you guys erased it. I'm going to come down underneath like this. There's the wave. And there you have it. That's Donald Duck's beak. Now, boys and girls, if you don't have something to color with, it's no big deal. I think I'm going to add a little orange for the beak right now because that will help us not be so distracted by the lines that I wish were not there. So at this point, if you want to erase the bottom of the original circle in this line in there, and that line, they're probably already gone. If you want to go ahead and do that, now would be a great time. And let me darken in the scrunched up other side. And I think if I color everything orange here, you let me know. It's going to make it a little easier for our brains to understand. Because I'm going to cover up some stuff that I wish was not there, if that makes sense. Is that helpful to you all? Does that make it stand out a little better for you?
I think it does, Mr. K. I think that the black helped and the orange definitely makes it easier to see. Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. If I was thinking if I was in my studio downstairs, I could have real quickly grabbed up some white paint and I would have covered that up lickety split. But I think we're good to go. I think, put it this way, I think we can at least tell we are drawing a duck, right? Okay, boys and girls, if we're doing okay pace-wise, I think what I'm going to do is start his eyes. And what I did to kind of brush up on my Disney character drawing lesson was I just I previewed a little master artist, a master Disney artist's video, and he just walked me through the same steps that I'm walking you through. So the Disney guys, what they do is they just draw them so frequently and so often, they just know how to draw them from memory, which I think is pretty cool. So anything in school that you repeat over and over and over again kind of becomes second nature to you. So the same too with drawing. So the gentleman who was drawing Donald Duck for me, I didn't know this. Donald Duck has the largest eyes of any Disney character, and he compared them to dinosaur eggs. So another animal connection today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Donald a dinosaur shaped eye on one side of the face. It's in that upper quadrant. And as you can tell, it takes up, you know, pretty fair amount of space. So draw yourself a big old dinosaur egg on one side. I think if my old eyes are telling me correctly. Someone's saying it's already starting to look like Donald, and I'm glad to hear that.
You're right. Yep, we have someone that already looks like Donald. Yes, it's starting to look
Cool.
like Donald.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, now the other eye is going to be a little smaller because, like I said, his head is turned a little bit to the side. Okay, and I'm going to kind of like tuck it in where that bridge line was. I'm going to kind of like tuck it in there. And the gentleman who was drawing, the Disney artist, he kind of compared this to a croquet hoop. I don't know if you've ever played croquet. You have these big wooden mallets and these ceramic spherical croquet balls, and you kind of hit them through these little wickets in the yard. It's meant to be played outside. It's a fun game. We played it a lot when I was a kid. So I don't know if anybody knows about that game or not, but if not, look into it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, now we better give Donald some eyeballs. Okay, feel free though. Let me see if I can find my anything you start with pencil from this point forward. Feel free. That black, yeah, it's black. Feel free to darken it. Oops, I went a little off course there, but that's okay. So anything you do in pencil, feel free to darken with a marker, a colored pencil, a pen, a crayon, what have you. When I taught the real little kids, I would always tell them sometimes if you go hard on the edges and then a little lighter shading in the middle, that's a cool effect. Okay, so hard around the edges and lighter towards the center. Let's give him some eyeballs, and the eyeballs are going to follow a similar shape. So you had a dinosaur egg to begin with, and you got like a thinner dinosaur egg shape, or smaller, I should say, inside, and the same thing over here. Okay.
All right, Mr. K, just so you know, we do have some kids that know or what croquet is and have
Oh,
played. So there are a few in there, and you're also getting quite a cute few comments about how amazing of an artist you are. So just
oh.
so you know, the kids really are appreciating it.
That makes me feel good. My old eyes, I've had many surgeries on my eyes. That's where I have to wear glasses and stuff. I can't see them all, but my heart thanks you completely. That's so kind of you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, whatever you have for darkening and your black or, any dark color. If you don't have a black, maybe a brown or something. But I'm going to shade in Donald's eyeballs. The center part of your eye is called the pupil, and it operates like a camera lens. It opens and closes according to the available light. That's why your kitty cats, in the evening when it's not as light outside, their eyeballs become very wide. And during the day when sunlight is plentiful, sometimes your kitty cat pupils will look like slits, kind of like snake eyes almost. And I think Miss Brittany has snakes, correct?
Absolutely, Mr. K. We actually got to see them yesterday. I presented
Oh,
yesterday
nice.
for them, and they got to see them. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's cool. I love that. That's very unique. That's so awesome. Well, let's see. Time check 11:23. I think we're doing okay. I think we're going to finish Mickey right around 11:45, which would be a perfect time frame for us. I think what I'm going to do before we get to his eyebrows is if you want to give him a little bit of a cast shadow underneath the top part of the bill. I just shadowed it in a little bit there because when two objects meet, when the bottom lip meets the top lip, there's going to be some darkness inside. So all I did was I took my black crayon and I just shaded him in a little bit. Okay. All right. Now pretend this is your pencil. Go back to your pencil. and give Donald an eyebrow. I sort of wish I could erase that line. I cannot. No worries. I'll put a little bit of white on top as a reminder to you to erase a little bit if you can. And trust me, kids, I know what this is like. I've been in school before where you lose your eraser or it doesn't work, and sometimes you just got to go with it. So if you can't erase like me, it's no big deal. No worries. Second eyebrow will come over like that. And remember, that is my pretend pencil. So anytime you make a pencil mark moving forward, you may want to darken it with your dark crayon, colored pencil, marker, Sharpie, whatever you're
That's
using.
okay. Do you mind pointing out the lines that they're supposed to erase again, just in case?
Sure, sure. If I could, I would erase the original part of this circle. So I'll go over that with white. And you know what? We can probably get rid of that middle line now. I wish I could. All I can do is go over it in white crayon a little bit because Donald's going to be white. His feathers are white. So you can erase this and you can erase that right there.
So I'm pretty sure at this point now we have erased that weird X that we were talking about at
Yeah.
the beginning. So guys,
Yes.
if you have, remember your Xbox X in the middle of
Yeah.
your circle, you're going to go
Yeah.
ahead and erase that. And
Correct.
then right above his, or right below his one eyebrow there. So just that so far.
Yep. Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Sure. And I'm just going to pull that eyebrow down a little bit and connect it right into his face. Okay. And then over here, what we'll do is he'll have some side feathers. So that'll kind of take care of this empty space here. Okay. So everybody thumbs up for the next movement. I'm probably going to draw his head feathers next. He's got three kind of like sideways head feathers that flop over a little bit. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. They're just kind of three floppy, jaggedy lines. Let me go back to my pencil. This is my pencil. Okay, so I'm going to do one like that. It kind of goes sideways. And then one like that. They're kind of like fingers. They go in the same direction. And then one like that. It's just like three little, it's like almost a wave crashing on the shoreline if you've been to the beach before. So three little head feathers that flop over. And since that was my pencil, I'm going to darken it in with my darkening tool, which is my big fat black crayon. So I'll come over like this.
We got a comment that he has a little bit of a mohawk going on.
He sure does. Yeah, that's a great comment. Yep. And what we'll probably do at the very end is we'll cover him up. We'll cover his we won't cover it up. We will enhance it with, he wears like this naval beret, I think I might have mentioned before. So I guess Donald Duck is a sailor.
And that was the next question, was where's his hat? They were getting to it, huh?
Yeah, that'll be one of our final things. Okay, so those are his head feathers. I won't tie it together here yet because I think his beret is going to do that. We'll draw like a sort of a, I don't know, a brim to his beret, and then the top part's kind of floppy. Okay. So you can erase that line if it's not already gone. You can erase the top of the circle if it's not already gone. I'll try to help you out with, pretending that I'm erasing with my white crayon. You can get rid of a lot of those original lines. And then I love how Miss Brittany said you can get rid of the original Xbox X because we don't need that anymore. Those were just guidelines at the beginning that are very helpful when you are cartooning. Okay. Now his side feathers or maybe cheek feathers, they're a little smaller. So I'm going back to my pencil, my pretend pencil. And one comes out like this. And then the other two, you can just kind of round off like the McDonald land golden arches. So there's like a sideway M there. And what I'll do is I'll go back to my darkening crayon and I'll darken in his cheek feathers or his side feathers. And by now, his whole head and beak should pretty much connect the whole way around. Sometimes I might bridge just a little bit from this bump to the top of his bill, but if you don't have room to do that, it's no big deal. So we should have like a solid continuous line the whole way around Donald Duck, if you will. Okay. So I think we're down to about, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes or so, which is perfect for our final two additions, the beret, and then we'll give him a neck. And then if there's a few moments at the end, since Donald Duck is white, you can oftentimes rub a dark color behind him, and any dark color behind a light color will really push it to the foreground. Give it that artistic pop, P-O-P, you know, when you make that noise with your mouth, it'll make your art pop out a little bit. Okay. All right. So here comes his beret. All right. Above this eyebrow. Oops. Let me go back to my pencil. Okay. I'm just drawing one straight line up from his eyebrow. It's going to kind of go a little bit on top of the head feathers, maybe disappear behind those two head feathers, and come out the other side. So I went up on top of the first feather, maybe behind these middle two, and I came out the other side. And I'm going to wrap it onto the top of his head like that. Here comes my darkening crayon. Up, over, on top, between, out the other side. And this is definitely what the Disney artist did to make a differentiation or show some contrast. He colored in the brim or the rim, R-I-M, of Donald's beret. That'll make it a little more distinctive for you. And if you want to go back at any time and darken any of these other lines, you may. And as we said last week, even when the lesson is over, you can always add more color and enhance it moving forward. And give it away. Give it to mom or dad, grandma, whomever. They'll hang it on the fridge and you will feel like $1 million. Okay. The beret is pretty simple. It's kind of like two U shapes that kind of overlap somewhere up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull. I wish I had a little more room up there, but that's okay. That's a letter U. And it's going to run on into a different letter U and connect on the other side of his face. It connects to the bottom of the rim of the hat. Here goes my darkening marker, or excuse me, my darkening crayon. Make those outside lines as dark as you like. And someone's going to have to check me on this. I think his beret is blue. I'm not certain. Someone's definitely going to have to help Mr. K out on that one.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that it was blue too, but then I was like, maybe it's white. Everybody in the chat saying blue, and I went ahead and looked it up, and yep, it is blue.
Nice. You people are amazing. So if you have a blue, mine's not a true blue here. I think I have an aqua blue, but I'm going to go with it. Mine's called blue green. I'm going with it. If you have a blue, go ahead and shade it in. And if you don't have time to get the whole thing colored today, no worries. After the lesson is over, you can continue or pick up later in the day or tomorrow. That's the beauty of art. You can always pick up where you leave off. I think I'm going to have enough time to get my beret colored in. Maybe not as completely as I would have liked, but it definitely will give you an idea of how it's supposed to be. Now, the Disney artists from which I was learning taught the kiddos to come off with a little tassel that reminds us all of the letter W. So you can pull a little tassel. I guess it's the W at the bottom is what he meant by that. And it goes right back up to the beret. So the W is down here and it connects on both sides with the beret. Let me get my darkening crayon. I'll go over that. The Disney artist colored the tassel dark, so I'm going to do the same thing. And while I'm at it, I had mentioned a cast shadow, C-A-S-T, between the mouth, between the upper lip and the bottom lip. There would probably also be a cast shadow here where the two parts of the fabric overlap. So I'm going to put a little bit of shadowing in there too. Because anytime you have one object on top of another, it's going to leave a shadow. We doing okay on the pacing, everybody? All we have to do now is give Donald Duck a neck and pick a background color that'll make him pop out a little bit. So if everybody's all right, I'm going to start in on his neck. Okay, now ducks have, as you know, have a very thin neck. And right around where this I know you probably erased yours, but right around where this original edge of the circle was, we're going to come down with his neck. And right around where that original line was that separated his face into 4 quadrants, we're going to start thick at the top and then just get a little thinner at the bottom. So it's a little wider here under the beak and then it narrows. What I'm going to do is get my darkening crayon. I'm going to darken it. I might give him a little bit of a shadow here. because his beak is going to cast a little bit of a shadow on his neck. Okay. And then, big decision here for you all. And it doesn't matter what you choose. Any color darker than white. So that's pretty much any color in the existence of all colors. Any color darker than white will make Donald Duck leap off of the page, so to speak. It'll make him look like he's coming forward. I grabbed up a red crayon with our final moments. And what I'm going to do is I don't have time to color the whole background. But what I'm going to do is I'm at least going to give a little bit of a backdrop to Donald. I can go back later and add more if I need to. But I'm going to color in all the gaps surrounding Donald. And it'll give him that artistic POP pop that I was referencing earlier. I'm just going to put a little bit up there above his hat, not too much. I'll come in over the side, around his beak, around his bottom lip, and I'll reconnect with his neck. And I've got a little bit of extra time, so I'll fill in some space at the bottom. And like I said, you can always go back and add more color or detail as you have the opportunity. And the last thing I think we should do, especially if it's going to be a gift for somebody, or if you're going to put it on the refrigerator, somewhere, anywhere you have space, you can write Donald Duck, and then I'm going to put by BY, drawn by MR K, Mr. K. And that way, if mom or dad, I might have to give it to my lovely wife, Miss Renee, whoever is the recipient of your art, whoever the gift getter is, they'll know that it was drawn by you with great love. So are there any questions? Because what I'm going to do next is kind of turn my computer a little more facing me, and I'm going to go back to the view where I can see a lot more, the gallery view. And if anybody wants to hold theirs up, let me put my glasses on.
Oh, wow, we're getting a whole bunch of them up. Yes,
Wow,
guys, this is
Spencer, that's really good. Wow, I love these. William and Isaac. Wow,
no, we
everybody.
have a bunch of awesome looking things there. We have Gideon
Yeah,
and Lily, and oh my gosh,
yeah,
guys, thank you so much for sharing them all.
yeah, I'm so proud of you. Holy cow. Well, thumbs up. Did everybody have fun? Let me know if you liked the lesson.
I really think
Cool.
they did. I got a lot of awesome comments as we went through. A couple people were saying that yours looks more like the retro than the more modern Daffy Duck.
Oh, yeah, that
But
could be. Yeah, they refined him through the years for sure.
they've definitely changed him a couple times through the
Yeah.
years. I think they've done that with a lot of their characters.
Yes.
But yeah, they love it. Everybody else, you guys did an awesome job. I'm seeing them on the in the chat. You're posting them, your chat, or you're showing them up to the cameras. You guys did an amazing job. And remember, like Mr. K said, you can always add more later. You don't have to go ahead and just try to do it all now there. I just saw, if anybody noticed, Miss Jack had
I
her.
know. May I see that again? My glasses were. Oh, wow. You've got some mad skills, Miss On Jack.
So
Very
everybody
cool.
likes
Thank you.
going.
It was a lot of fun, so thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how we can instruct this way. I only ever did it during COVID when we were forced online, but I see such great value in this learning modality. And I would explain it to my dad, who was in his 90s at the time. He couldn't wrap his brain around it. I said, yeah, Dad, I'm able to show them on my end, and they're able to create such nice things on their end. So great job, everybody.
Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. And Mr. K, we have a lot of great comments for you as well. Like
Oh,
I
thank
said,
you.
everybody's really being appreciative, thanking you, think you're a wonderful artist. There's somebody even
Oh,
said that their mom's name is Renee. So say
wow.
Renee is an excellent name, huh?
It's a great coincidence. Yeah. Well,
There,
thank you for, having me. It's a pleasure, and I'll help you next summer if you need. And you guys make me feel so good about myself and creating art. So thank you for that.
absolutely. And guys, did you have any other questions or comments for Mr. K before we go ahead and end this time? Because here, oh, there we have William and Isaac are going to go ahead and give their picture to their mom.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of people are, yep, saying thank you and thank you for teaching. So guys, I'm going to go ahead then and end the recording, but I do want to remind you of a few things.